Okay, we got one more category to talk about, and that is the Notre Dame scoring offense versus the USC scoring defense. And here it is. Obviously, again, on paper, believe it or not, Notre Dame, actually on paper, it's a little bit even, I would say, as I'm going back and forth, kind of looking here. Notre Dame's averaging 31 points a game, which puts them, 47, which is a little better than half the country. And USC is obviously giving up a lot of points. They're giving up 27.3, and that puts them at 79. It's the chunk plays that worry me. Notre Dame doesn't have a lot, but USC gives up a lot. So I think something's got to give there. The red zone is not good for USC. It's trending better for Notre Dame, but it's still not where it needs to be. They're allowing 17 touchdowns in 23 drives. Yeah. That's 73%, 73.9%. They haven't given up a field goal though. So those 6 drives mean they've turned it over, or they've gotten a turnover in there.
Right.
They haven't given up a field goal, but they've given up a lot of touchdowns. So it's like, okay, I guess that's good that they haven't given up a field goal, but they've given up 74% of touchdowns.
Yeah.
So something's got to give there, obviously, as well. And, they've gotten a lot of turnovers, but again, 7 of those 10 turnovers are interceptions. And like we said, they face a lot of throwing teams, so they have a lot of opportunities to get those kinds of turnovers. So third down for Notre Dame absolutely needs to be better. It's not good right now. They're 105th in the country, and USC's third down defense is actually decent. They're top 30. Which is crazy based on what I've watched of them. It feels like they're giving up first downs all the time, but maybe that's because teams aren't even getting to third down. Maybe that's what it is, because they've only had 68 opportunities for third downs, and Notre Dame's had 93.
Right.
So I think that is actually pretty telling. I don't think teams are getting to third down against this defense.
That means you can get whatever you want, Vince.
Right.
Any down, any distance, you can get whatever you want against this team. There will be plenty of opportunities for Notre Dame. It goes back to the word you used at the beginning of the show, execution.
Yeah.
If Notre Dame executes, they'll put up points. It's as simple as that. The opportunities will be plenteous on Saturday night.
Yes, they will. I agree. And again, they're going to be home. It's going to be a great environment. They're going to have plenty of opportunities to score. They're going to have plenty of opportunities. And I said that this was, a game for Jack Cohn, a confidence game for him. This is a confidence game for the offense, period.
Yep.
Whether we're talking about the run game and the offensive line, or whether we're talking about the pass game and Jack Cohn, or whether we're talking about Tyler Buchner coming in and running the offense, right? Now, an offense that is skewed towards him. That's what you have to do as an offensive coordinator. I have no problem with that. I'm not asking him to come in and be Jack Cohn.
Right.
But for him to come in and gain confidence from an execution standpoint with what they're asking him to do, I think is huge for him moving forward.
Yep, I agree. And like I said, this offense has to set the tone, first with physicality, then executing the opportunities and getting the big plays, putting points on the board, and more importantly, I truly believe the defensive effort we saw against Virginia Tech was a result of great planning from Virginia Tech on how to attack Notre Dame. But even more than that, the effort that Notre Dame had put out in the previous 3 games defensively to keep this team in the game and keep things where they are.
Right.
They were a little worn out. Like we saw a team that was just a little half step slower against Virginia Tech than they had been in previous games, and the bye week couldn't have come at a better time, especially for our defensive unit. So get out early, score points, get big plays, and unleash a rejuvenated defense, because what they can do, once you make the USC offense one-dimensional by scoring points and getting ahead, now you let your front seven go.
Absolutely.
Let your front seven go and attack and create turnovers and take full control of the game. But it starts with our offense.
Yeah.
Set the tone, get the big plays, be physical. The game should be pretty easy. Of course, we're not on the field. So It's easy for us to say what should be easy. But
well,
analyst, that's the way I see it. That's just the way I see it.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, I would love to see, and I know we're going to talk about the defense tomorrow, but this has to do with the offense. If the offense can get the defense a 2-touchdown lead, you know what I mean? Like, let's see what this defense can do with a 2-touchdown lead in the first quarter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's, we're talking offense, but they need to go down and they need to finish drives. Go down and finish the first 2 drives. Let the defense, get a 3 and out. And then all of a sudden they're up 14-0. Watch what this defense can do when they've got a lead like that. Like I really think that could be just huge for both sides. Let that defense just dominate with a 2-score lead where they're not worried if they make a little mistake that they're going to lose the game because the offense hasn't done their part up to this point.
Yeah, you have to, because you anticipate that this defense is going to face 50-plus passing attempts from the USC offense. So the more you can keep time of possession in your favor as an offense and be physical and hit on big plays and demoralize the team, getting out front and allowing your defense to play and get off the field and get the ball right back to you and you score again, then the game becomes pretty much, like you said, Tommy Rees can just have his choice of whatever he wants to pick on the play sheet. And at that point, Marcus Freeman is, oh my God, he's probably rubbing his hands saying, what? We haven't been in this position before to be able to truly attack and get after the quarterback like we can. So it's a perfect storm. It's a perfect storm. Like you said, the weather will make an impact as well.
Absolutely.
In the passing game. We won't know how windy it will be, but for it to be in the 40s, I expect some type of wind. And when you have a team that wants to throw the ball 50-plus times, hey. And the thing about it, their offensive line is, you guys will talk about it, they're just not a physical team at all.
Right.
They're just not a physical team. So if Notre Dame comes out and just bullies, play bully ball, they'll be successful.
Yep, no doubt. So I know this is a formality, but I'm going to ask you anyway, who's got the advantage here when it comes to scoring offense versus USC scoring defense?
It's definitely Notre Dame. And like I said, the only reason that they'll hold Notre Dame's points down on Saturday as a defense, speaking of USC, is if we don't scheme, if we come out and try to play cute football against them and try to throw the ball all over the lot. If we try to do that, they'll make some plays because they can't intercept the ball. They do have some talented guys in the secondary. But as I said before, they're just undisciplined and they don't like to tackle. They don't like to play the other part of football. So if we play into that and allow them to create a couple of turnovers, maybe a blitz gets home on Jack Cohn or something like that, and it leads to points, then it could be a long day and they can hold the offense down. But if Notre Dame just comes out and establishes the run and they play physical, take advantage of the big play opportunities that are there and will be there all night, there's no way. And I have a bet. I actually bet Malik on this.
Uh-oh.
Because I think over the next 2 games, I think Notre Dame can score 40 points as an offense.
There we go.
He says there's no chance. So that's the bet.
That's great.
And hopefully I come away a winner on Saturday night because I really think Notre Dame can put up 40 points as an offense. And the defense can't score any of the points to help.
Okay. So it's got to be all offense. Okay.
All offense. So I need Jack Cohn at his best.
Yes.
On Saturday night.
Yeah. He has every opportunity to be that way.
Yeah.
There's no question. Every opportunity. So I agree with you. I'm going with Notre Dame with the advantage here. I just feel like, look, USC has dudes. There's no question about it. but there's just so many holes in this defense, and they're just so fundamentally unsound when it comes to tackling and when it comes to any kind of scheme. They'll make the playground plays, right? If you allow them to. You know what I mean? Like they'll make, if it's one-on-one and you throw up a 50-50 ball, they could go up and get it, you know? But if you just run your scheme and you just hammer it home, I just don't see how Notre Dame isn't successful here. So I go advantage Notre Dame as well. So that's advantage for Notre Dame in all three areas for both of us. And I think it says more about the USC defense than it does about the Notre Dame offense. But this defense isn't good, people. And if you don't believe me, go watch some USC film. There's plenty of it out there on YouTube. Go watch it, and you will be like, holy cow, these guys are on full scholarship. Okay, got it.
And that's one of the craziest things, right? Because you look at their recruiting over the last 2 or 3 years, and all you see is 4-star, 5-star.
Yeah.
And, everyone that covers the team out there, they're all consistent and saying, these guys aren't as good as the players that we've seen come to USC before.
Right.
And that's kind of disconcerting, but it also lets you see a couple of breadcrumbs of what really took place under Clay Helton.
Right. Absolutely.
Maybe it's development.
Right.
You got a bunch of 4 or 5 stars, but they're not producing. Like, what else could it be?
Right. No doubt. So